I'm Duran.
And I'm Rania. So, anyway, don't you guys forget. Wait, didn't we do the water thing in the first time? They're gonna be like, "Why the fuck does he have water? He has a different bottle of water. Get you some Fiji water. Definitely get you some Fiji water or some Aquafina or any Wawa that can help you uh, be able to speak better. So don't be like Duran and always choke on your words.
All
Always get you some Fiji water.
right. Which company is that? Is that Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
I have no freaking idea. I think this is Coca Cola. No, actually, this might be Pepsi.
Whichever it is, if you don't start paying us our ransom, we're going to switch.
We're not ransomware people.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah, we are actually the good guys. Today we're going to continue on Mr. Hammond. Don't call yourself a hacker.
And they had said to me, like, John, what do you want your title to be? I was like, shouldn't that be your decision, guys? I don't know.
That's how you know the titles don't matter.
That's exactly right. The titles really don't matter. And when you're talking about people who are advanced in their career, I mean, they're probably doing a whole bunch of stuff, a whole lot of everything. That's what I do. And in a lot of depth on a lot of different subjects. So it's hard to pin someone down to a single title, which goes to exactly what you're saying. I mean, really, titles only matter to people who don't have them.
Yep. For somebody like myself, title really mattered because at the time, because was trying to gain my foot in the door to. It seemed like when you went to get another job, they always looked at your former title, and HR seemed to base it off of whatever your title was, and that's how they start scanning. Oh, you're a consultant, so I get all
Right.
of these things that I'm a consultant now, so we're gonna put you in a job for consultant. If I was an engineering technician, then or engineer, they're gonna find me jobs there. So it seemed like there that at that point in time that was a big thing. But then as you start getting more experience and you're getting your foot in the door and you're doing all these different things, you get more advanced. You're just like, it doesn't really fucking matter what my title is because I've done everything in the sun,
Yeah.
and above. So
And they said you could be a cybersecurity content creator, you could be senior security researcher, you could be blah, 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 you name it. And I actually had conversations with other people, like my personal friends. It was like, what the heck would I want to be known as if I were able to grant this idea to people? This is what you should refer to me, a hacker or a pen tester or a bug bounty hunter or a security researcher, blah, blah, blah. And there is one interesting nugget in that someone had said to me, like, I think it actually has more to it when you say you are a security researcher rather than a cybersecurity content creator.
Why would you suggest content creator to begin with? Content creators don't actually do anything. Content creators are the people who are the talking heads on YouTube. They're not creating knowledge. They're not. I mean, when I think content creator, you're talking PewDiePie. Yeah, you laugh. Oh, and Mr. Beast. Those are content creators.
well, the bad thing about the whole content creator thing is it's cool, but like you said, you don't do anything.
No.
And if somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, you're that content creator," yeah, that means that I really just make content for you guys. That doesn't mean that it's all correct, and it doesn't mean that it's all good, and it doesn't mean I'm actually doing anything.
I'm an
It doesn't mean that's good
entertainer.
for a job, right? Um, yeah, like
But if someone suggested to me, hey, Duran, your title could be cybersecurity content creator, I'd probably slap them because that's an insult to me. Like I said, I mean, that's entertainer, that's PewDiePie, that's Mr. Beast, that's the D'Amelios or whatever they're called. Those TikTok people. I mean, those people are content creators.
yeah, no, that's an embarrassment. That would piss me off.
That
You
would.
know, you know, um, I don't know why they even say that, but because he makes content for YouTube, that's what he was known at. I mean, he started off as a teacher. He makes content for YouTube, and he got all of these fancy certifications that are nothing. that means nothing. So,
Evidently.
that tells me that when they look at him, they don't look at him to be that advanced, and they don't look at him to know as much, but people praise him. And I want to really call this out. Like I said, we're not hating on John. I think, he's doing great for whatever he's doing in his area, whatever that may be. But just because he has 200,000 following or subscribers on YouTube doesn't mean that guy knows shit. Not saying he doesn't, but I'm just saying in particular, you got people like us who are building and getting up there, but we're really telling you guys the real deal. We went through it all. Some of these people are just getting started in the career. They haven't went through shit, but you get a lot of fluff there. You get a lot of, I was doing CTFs and this got me into my career. You just got into this. So, you got
Right.
into it really from just people knowing that you do content, you were doing some stuff, but that doesn't mean you did anything.
Right. Well, like, to that point, there's that one gentleman who, a day in the life of a cybersecurity analyst making $20,000, $120,000 a year, and then he goes on in the first statement, he says, "Well, I didn't actually do any cyber analyst work. They mistitled it." And I'm like, then why did you put on this video? And he lasted a very short stint in that, and then he moved on to the next one, lasted a short stint in that, and moved on to the next one. And I understand trying to find a home. I actually really get that. It took me a little while before I found an organization that I could really grow and expand the most in, and that took very good care of me. But by the same token, if you're doing those 6-month contracts, 1-year contracts, if you're staying in the civilian contract world, or you just hop, that's still not long enough to actually know how that segment of the field works. You still don't understand it. People need to be very careful who they listen to and who they're paying attention to. The individuals who are still relatively new to the industry, they don't know the industry. They don't know what HR is looking for. They don't know what hiring managers are looking for.
And then security researcher, to go back on this. Now,
Yeah.
we're going to cover, in some ways, he said that he did incident response. It's not in this video, but he did incident response, basically a threat hunter. I don't see how that's security research. To me, it goes back to, don't call yourself a hacker, but you call yourself a security researcher.
Yeah, that is a little weird.
How can you call yourself something that you don't do?
Yeah, I've never understood the term security researcher anyway, because even if you spend okay, so let's take you or I. You spend an exorbitant amount of time looking for vulnerabilities, looking for flaws, threats, all of that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that's not security research. I don't understand what security research is supposed to mean in our field. Research to me is you are consistently working, usually with a team, on either finding something novel, applying something in a novel way, or something of that nature. But when people talk security researchers, okay, you've got the threat hunters who have subverted the term and completely ruined it. They don't do any security research.
It's to me, before you even go further, it's really just to give the blue team a sexier name. You don't think sexy when you think SOC analysts, or when you see some security engineer. I mean, I guess it's a little more sexier, but security engineer is not as sexy as security research or some content creator shit or whatever the hell you're doing. I never even thought about, heard of that. But
Yeah.
you don't normally see sexiness when you see those things, or an analyst or stuff like that. But it's sexy when you say security researcher. Like penetration tester is supposed to be sexy, but that's literally sounds like a sexy, like porn star person. Like, how sexier can you get? But the pen testing scene and the offensive side team seems to be the more sexiest thing. It's over the years. So blue team is always looked at as not sexy. So to
Yeah.
me, they named a security researcher to make it sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. Hollywood has done a very good job of making that offensive side glorified. And at the same time, and this is partially because the way the United States' general cultural mentality is, that defensive side just is not given that same oomph. It's almost seen like they are the inevitable losers in the battle, which actually plays right into the marketing that came out, which of course assume breach. That's exactly what that is. Assume you've been screwed. But even if it hadn't been subverted, it never made sense. So I'll give you a good example. So I was doing research building supercomputers. And this was for the government a little while ago. That was actual research. We had to go through, we made custom motherboards, we were making custom processors and all of this other stuff because it was the only way to fit. We were fitting a whole bunch of CPUs on a single board, and then we had to make custom motherboards and everything was custom. That's research. That's hardcore research. When I was working on the spacesuit technology and then some of the spacecraft technology, that was legitimate research. I'm in security, and I'm telling you, security research, what you're talking about is someone doing a one-off thing where they try to find something novel. Maybe it kind of falls into their lap, or maybe they're sitting there going, well, this seems a little weird, so they kind of play with a protocol kind of deal. I would never call any of the stuff that I did security research. I was actually I did a lot of things that people are now doing. I created a lot of the techniques people are now using. And I will tell you, none of that was security research. That was just me doing, penetration testing and application security. It's not research. It's doing the other jobs that provides that extra information. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it gets fuzzy. Like I said, when I think of a researcher or something, it's like what you were saying.
Mhm.
But if I was thinking of it from a vulnerability or security research, I would just be thinking of somebody who's researching the product in their company, and researching vulnerabilities or what new vulnerabilities in there, things that are not found 0 days, things that the company wants to be ahead of, but that doesn't mean that's also research. But at the same time, that's what I think when you're talking about stuff like that.
See, but isn't
But
that penetration testing though?
that's
Because,
the same thing. Like
yeah,
it's penetration testing. That's why I said I don't consider it research, but
right.
that's what companies would say. Like you see how many times you see vulnerability researchers
Yeah.
on there and they're doing that penetration testing. But I guess the difference in this particular perspective, even though it's a subset of penetration testing, um, like for me, I'm a pen tester and I don't get to literally exploit, like sit and write exploits all day. I
No,
can't
you
write.
test
I'm not
these.
writing 0 days. I'm testing pins all day. And if into my grandmother, RIP, she thought I was a porn star. That's what I did, and she literally just felt so bad for me. She's like, I thought I raised you better. I didn't think you were going to be a porn star. Like, what are you penetrating? And it just it got real weird right there really
Is your
quick.
porn hetero or?
She skipped past the pin, and I said penetration tester. So the only time I had to say, especially when it come around family, if I said I was a security engineer or security anything, they thought I was a security guard.
Yeah.
If I said I was a penetration tester, they thought I was a porn star. If I said I was a pen tester, I test pins. The only thing that registered in their head that if I said I was a hacker, that was
Yeah.
the quick thing. Oh, okay. All right. So you like hacking things. You like, doing these things you see on the TV. Oh, that's the most thing you can resonate. That's why it's like, what can you say to yourself? You say cybersecurity professional. Some people get it, some people don't.
Yeah.
But that's probably the better name if you don't want a derogatory thing as hacker.
Right.
So I think he would have been better off just calling himself a cybersecurity professional.
I agree.
And that would have gave him the broad term, or as you say, information assurance professional, whatever.
He doesn't do information assurance.
Right. He doesn't. He, again, as we talk about, if you're doing incident and threat hunting, that is, even if you call yourself a security researcher.
I don't consider those security.
They're
not even cybersecurity. In my opinion, they're actually outside of it.
Yeah.
But that's another matter.
Like I said, that is different. Like, what I was doing was security, but when we did the threat hunting, which was required, I didn't even think that was security. That was more of administration.
That's yes, exactly. Your incident response, incident responders, threat hunters, threat analysts, all of that stuff, they're not actual security. They're not really in the field. And my proof of that is what they're doing is actually non-technical.
Yep.
Period. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yep. Anybody can read a log.
Yeah, anyone can read a log. And it used to be something that all of your system administrators were expected to do. So unless you're saying your system administrators were secretly back in 2000 to 2010, all cybersecurity professionals, I mean, there's no way in hell that argument just doesn't fly. It's baloney.
So that was a weird one anyway, and that I could kind of say or decide, is this title that I'd like, or this name, a hacker, something that I want to give myself? Was it
I
the
thought
general
he
public
said not to name yourself a hacker.
Giving
Just say don't call yourself a hacker.
No, it should be you giving yourself that title, but it shouldn't you be saying that and trying to cram it into the ether. You should be putting in the effort and the work to emanate that you are a hacker.
So I think one of my biggest issues here is the term hacker really is derogatory to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I grew up in the bad old days of the internet. Actually, it wasn't even I grew up in the bad old days when the internet was largely, for most of my youth, government only kind of deal, plus academia and a few big businesses. And then it spread from there. And doing various things that I won't get into, but it back then the word hacker was thrown about and it always had that negative connotation, and that stuck with me. Yes, I know. When I was in my computer science stuff, everyone, oh yeah, we're hackers, but they all were talking, that's programmer hacker, which is completely different.
Yeah, a lot different.
But even then, I still bristled at it because I'm still going, yeah, but I mean, hacker to me, because that's what I grew up with. That's what I knew, because I had seen what they did, and I was very aware of what people were doing, and we'll leave it at that. That was just a term that I still bristle at. I wouldn't call myself a hacker because I see it as a negative thing. To me, most of the hackers are up to no good.
But that's why they changed it to cracker. Remember, like that just sounds like some really bad shit right there. When I heard cracker, I was like, I'm not gonna go calling somebody a cracker. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then
they had
freakers and all that. And I remember around that time, I was calling myself hacker and all that, doing that stuff. Oh yeah, I'm doing all this great stuff around my friends and stuff. And what I was trying to explain to them is, the hackers were supposed to be the programmers that hack shit together, right?
Yeah.
They just put shit together. Doesn't mean it was great.
Right.
And when I look at hacking, you're looking at not only derogatory, just the media and all that other stuff. Maybe I looked at it as bad because if you're a programmer, and you're slapping shit together, then that means it probably gets the job done, but it's not efficient. So I looked at that as a bad thing from that perspective as well. But when I would talk to other programmers, they're like, no, we're not bad. We're the hackers. We're the good guys, and they're the crackers, and they're the bad guys. And I'm like, no, they're fucking hackers. That's it. There's no such. I don't want to hear crackers and freakers and shit like that. Like, they're just fucking hackers. That's it. They hack things. That's it.
I agree. I agree. They all started to try to diversify and give themselves different names.
That you are in cybersecurity and you are passionate about this community.
If you're in
And I realize when I
cybersecurity and you're a
say that,
professional,
that's
please don't call yourself a
extremely
hacker.
hard to hear.
It's not professional.
And kind of a tough pill to swallow. Maybe, I don't know if I'm
Don't
even
tell your
getting the
clients you're a
idea
hacker
across
either.
right, but I do want to showcase this if it's
That-
totally
that
okay
is-
because
that'll
I think
get
this
you,
ties
like,
in
dropped
well
quick.
to what we're just
Yes, you're exactly right. You want to lose your clients? Tell them you're a hacker. Go for it. Let me know how that works.
I mean, but you got to think about it. A lot of penetration testers do this stuff too, which kind of bothers me. Like, I don't really say much. I'm the type of person. It sounds weird, but I don't say much. I just get my job done. I don't say much to people. But I see a lot of people with pen testers. We're hackers and we're
Yeah.
doing this and I do this and they got all of this crazy stuff. I'm like, you guys seem like you want to be your wannabes. You
Right.
want to be hackers,
Right.
Like, you just do your fucking job.
Right.
Who cares what you do? Like,
You're not
this is what
impressing them.
right. This is what I do every day. We're a bunch of people that sit here and hack things all day. We get paid to do that. That's great. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care who wants to be who wants to be a hacker. You kind of get past that as you get more mature and get in the industry, you get past this whole hacking thing.
Yes.
It just is what it is. So to call yourself a hacker, when people do that, normally I think noob or script kiddie, somebody who's just getting into this field, and that's how they look at it. As you get further, the term hacker, penetration tester, all that stuff go
Right.
out the window.
Right.
You're kind of like, yeah, I'm whatever you want to call me.
Yeah, you are exactly right.
I'm just this guy who like to play and tinker with things. That's it.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you are spot on. It is a maturity issue.
Yep.
discussing. And this is some great work from Daniel Meisler, the same individual that put out sec lists and a ton of other incredible things in the community. It says, hey, I wrote an essay about how to get a seat at that table that you've been thinking about. And the name of this is actually
I didn't know there was a table. Is there like a Justice League table where all the greatest people that contributed to the scenery or community is like the gatekeepers?
Yeah, that's really weird. I don't understand why people have gotten so hung up with this table concept. Oh, your seat at the table, your seat at the table. We're not talking about a table. This is IT security. I mean, it's more like a giant pond.
So, Duran, if I may ask, and I kind of already know where this is going to go, but who is on your Mount Rushmore of the top, top 5, top 4, top 5 security professionals that you looked up to, if you even look up to anybody? But I'm saying, do you have a Mount Rushmore? Because this seems like there's a Mount Rushmore of people who sits at that table.
Honestly, I didn't. So I moved around a lot and I lived in a lot of different places. And I think maybe that's partially what contributed to it. But I found, for example, in the United States, you'll have a lot of people and they'll go, oh, well, if they're in the West Coast, for some reason, I don't know the West Coast, for whatever reason this is the case, Kevin Mitnick. And I'm like, but Mitnick was a social engineer. He didn't hack. There's a huge distinction between the two. And the only thing he did was use social engineering then to get credentials and compromise systems. And he wasn't a good person. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about that one. And so, I mean, I knew a lot of people who were doing it for the military and for the government in general. But you move around a lot, and a name is just a name, a face is just a face. Actually, just bad with names as a result of that. That's my claim anyway. That's why I'm bad with names. But I don't really have anyone. What about you?
I don't have anyone anymore. You broke my dreams. You literally killed my dreams. I hate you for that. You didn't have to go through and do that to me, but it was like, wow. I don't have a problem telling my issues and stories about it. So I had a Mount Rushmore. I had Dave Kennedy on that list. I had what is his name? Charlie. I think his name Charles or something. I forgot his last name, but he did the car hacking book. He was like top researcher, like stuff like that. At that point, it was kind of people that I could reach out and touch. So
Yeah.
I don't say I have a lot, but the names that stick the most was Dave Kennedy, Charlie Miller, and I can't think of any other people because a lot of them were just they didn't stand out to me.
Yeah.
So I really didn't have a Mount Rushmore, but those two were the people like, oh man, because all you hear is Dave Kennedy, Dave Kennedy, Dave Kennedy. But then when you actually start getting really good, and my problem was always down in myself that I can't be as good as these guys. How does it take that? Then I got to the point where I'm like, I'm way better than these guys. It may not be the face on the board, but I can tell you right now that I definitely can have a seat past that table. So not taking away from these guys or what they do. Again, I'm just saying that you know, once I started kind of understanding that and seeing their work, I'm like, they're not doing nothing new. This is nothing I've never seen before. I people have been doing this a long time ago. Like this is nothing they're doing to this. So I was so bored at some of them conferences. I was like, they need to step it up, but there's nothing new under the sun. And then Duran came along as well and told this is these guys are nothing. They're a joke. And I'm like, really? Are they? Are they really a joke? Are you telling me that I've been in the Matrix this whole entire time and I had to choose between the blue or the red pill? Oh man, that was just kind of how it felt. And then when I kind of started seeing it and you kind of exposed that, I was like, yeah, you're right. I think they're cool, but they're not the end all be all. They're not the best, the greatest at their field. And I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm saying that you can be the greatest at that field too. They're not the only one that's great. You know what I'm saying? They make you
Yeah.
believe that, but it's not that hard.
Yeah, they're very good at marketing, and that's what's important. And I think what everyone needs to realize is you can maybe have them as a goal.
Yep.
You want to reach that level, but don't sit there and say, I'll never be able to reach that level, because that's simply not the case. If you really like this field or some aspect of it, you can easily reach that zenith. It will
Especially if you
take
love
you.
this field.
Yes.
If you love this field just further than like, if
Yes.
you love this field, then your passion will drive you so far. And you'll see yourself way above these guys because a lot of these people are coming up are the new generation. So, imposter syndrome goes out the window because if you really love what you're doing, you're going to be curious. You're
Yeah.
going to want to know more. You're going to start finding things that you never thought you would find. You're going to start doing things you never thought you would do. So don't look at it that way. Not like I did. And like I said, everybody comes up that way, but I have no problem saying it. But now I don't have any Mount Rushmore. I have people that aspire to really get up to that particular level, and that may not
Right.
be knowledge wise. It may be just where they're at in their career,
Right.
But everybody's chasing something. But my thing is, that you can just chase the better you. Chase
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
Don't chase other people.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Especially since it's just going to stymie you. It'll stifle your career.
Yeah, definitely.
So hey, all credit and kudos goes to Daniel for this. This is absolutely his incredible work.
Damn, Daniel.
And I will link it in the video description if anyone has an interest in reading through it, rather than just what I simply glance over here. But I think it is a wonderful read as a quick reminder, just sort of a breath of fresh air, to again have a gut check as to what it is that you might be working through, what it is that you might be up to. And this is all about your hard work, right? Your effort, your studying, your learning, your training.
Why did
your
he show it to us if he wasn't going to show it
everything
to
that
us?
you're putting an effort to.
Right.
What are you
I don't
doing
know.
it for?
That is a great
Is it
question.
providing the value that you want it to, not just for yourself, but for everyone in the industry, in the community, and the people that you feel like you want to be associated with and run in the circles, right? Have a seat at the table. I really like a lot of the word choice here. Effort might be visible to those around you, but it's not visible to the world. It's like when you scream in space. Sure, you screamed, but no one else heard.
That sounds like pseudo-intellectual bullshit.
Yeah.
Your effort is visible to those who aren't around you, or it can be, and your effort can also be invisible to those who are around you.
There's so many people that don't even know and we're around each other.
Yeah, that's That's pseudo-intellectual bullshit. I don't know. I have to say, a large part of this sounds to me like just standard rah-rah stuff, which I've never liked. It's let's get the troops geared up through glorious speeches. That just bores me. It's annoying.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know.
And why is he talking about seat at a table? This guy is not at a table. He's not writing DISA STIGs. He's not writing NIST special publications. He's not writing federal law. He's not writing massive policies, procedures, standards, and guidelines that regulate entire swaths of the world. What table is he seated at other than YouTube creating and people who write blogs?
So I think I'm gonna give you my perspective of what I think he's is saying, and okay, he has a seat at the table with the blogs because obviously he's got a ton of subscribers and he's the hot topic around security right now when it comes to that. So that's the seat at the table. Everybody that's doing security is probably reaching out to him, especially from a content creation type of thing, like the Cyber Mentor, maybe Dave Kennedy, maybe all the people from these different companies are reaching out. They're always talking to him. He's always getting a lot of views and different stuff like that. So that he feels like he has that seat at the table. Now he's in security. He's proven that with the content creation. He knows all of these people that people would love to talk to in that circle and get around. And that's the seat at the table. And me, I'm gonna be honest. You literally can go to a conference right now if without the COVID issues, if we were just talking about even back in the time. But you could go to a conference right now, you can still talk to those same people.
Yeah.
What's stopping you? What's so better about those people who so-called have the seat at the table? They're no better than you.
I
You
think
know?
so. I think the biggest issue I have with this, the entirety of all of this, is it's a lot of chest thumping. So I'll give you a good example. The people who are really good, and this goes against everything that is in that first paragraph. The people who are really good, you're not going to hear about in general. The people who are, because most of them, their work is classified. Most of them, they don't want fame. So I wasn't on Reddit. I wasn't on YouTube. I wasn't doing any of that stuff despite having more than what he has. And despite having more than what Dave Kennedy has. If you would compare my work with the NSA against his work with the NSA, if you were to compare my work outside of the NSA against anything he's done outside of the NSA, it's going to, there's a huge distinction between the two because I don't seek attention and publicity. The only reason why I sat there and said, hey, Roniel, let's start a podcast, and I'm sure you remember, is because I said, I want to impart knowledge. I love teaching, you know this. I love teaching, I love mentoring, and I love helping people. I really love helping people. I like helping them to achieve their maximal potential. And that's why I did this. And we aren't even using our real names.
No. No, that's the reason why we started these channels, or this channel at period, is to be able to really teach people about a lot of things that they know or understand that they don't. We're not just cybersecurity, a cybersecurity channel. At that, we talk about everything.
Yes.
Anything you can think of. So we're giving knowledge back to people that you're not getting in the news. A lot of it's fluff. A lot of it in the content creation is the same way as the news. It's the new media now. It's like you're getting a bunch of fluff, but they're not telling you the truth. If you're looking for a great foothold into the industry and learn from mistakes, then this is a great channel to learn from our mistakes, especially mine. I made some horrible mistakes. I don't know about Duran, but I can tell you I fucked up along the way. So if you want to learn anything, you can literally ask us, talk to us about it, and we can give you the right ways of doing things that may help you, and that's even proven to help you get your foot in the door. With this seat at the table, I understand. A lot of this was like, as you said, it was more of like speaking about him.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, it come off more aggressive, like, hey, I'm the man, I'm at the table. So if you want to get to the table, This is, you need to just do
my
whatever.
way, come through me. I've got the solution. Come to me, like one of those bad ministers who's trying to soak you for all your money.
What mark am I making in the world? Do you call yourself a hacker and you are a hacker, or you're just saying that to get other people in the world
That's what I
to
do.
believe and understand
That's
you,
all I
but
do.
you weren't putting in that effort?
You are
in
what
making
you
that
do.
mark known.
You
Are
are.
you leaving that mark on the world? And this is the tough perspective here.
Am I leaving my hackerism to the world? Am I leaving my penetration testing mark on the world? I don't think the world gives a shit.
I think people spend too much time with Emperor Syndrome. I must be remembered forever.
Remember me! Remember me! Remember me!
No, you really don't have to be. Just know that hopefully you helped create some of the little building blocks that created all of human history. And if you didn't, then I don't know what you did with your life. But I would argue most everyone in this world makes an impact and leaves an impact. And it may not be directly. It may be you leave an impact on those you left behind, and they did things as a result of, your life, your death, or your memory, whatever it happens to be. Yeah, this is pseudo-intellectual bullshit. It really is.
Yeah, I listen. I don't think anybody gives a shit what, like, even clients, like, they pay you to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a shit whether you left a mark in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They just pay you to do a job. So whether my work is going to leave a mark, are you leaving a mark in the world? Like, does the world give a shit? The world don't even give a shit about hackers. They look, if you're really thinking about it, as a derogatory thing.
Yes.
Hackers are looked at derogatory. So
right.
What mark are you leaving?
Right. Right.
You have no mark to leave. You know what I'm saying? Unless they are doing something like I say this because you literally are. If you have built something that everybody, especially a standard that everybody has to follow and will be used for years and years to come, that is leaving a mark.
Yes.
That is a bigger contribution than writing a fucking tool.
That's true. Every single security related ISOs, those were all based on stuff that I wrote. NIST special publications currently being created are all based on stuff that I wrote. There's previous special publications, and my stuff is based on the work of people who came before me. And that is how it's going to work, is you're going to get that, like I said, it's just a building block. And we get a bigger, hopefully more beautiful building that comes out of this. But most people, they're not going to have that opportunity, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with not having been one of the people who did some super prestigious thing, because I'll tell you, as someone who has written many NIST special publications and reviewed even more, providing comments, etc., and I'm not talking about when it was public, I'm talking about when it was still being written. It's incredibly prestigious to write for NIST and to do those special publications, but it's highly political. It's very stressful, and honestly, I had a lot more fun writing for DISA. I had a lot more fun writing the IAEA's documentation. I had a lot more fun writing for the Ukraine, for the UAE. I had a lot more fun doing other jobs than that super prestigious thing, because it wasn't political. It wasn't as, oh my goodness, we have to sit there and analyze every single dot and word and everything else. I don't know. I think people need to be content with the life that you live, so long as you're doing your best and having fun. And we don't have to chase this magical dragon about some table.
Yeah, I don't care about having a seat at the table. Like I say, I'm in the field that I love doing. I get paid to do what I love doing. And long as my family's happy, that's all that really matters. Who cares about the seat at the table?
Yes.
You can be kicked off that table or out of that group anytime. And
yes.
then what?
Yes, exactly. In an instance, in a flash, you're just boom. No one wants you there for whatever reason, or anything. Anything can happen.
Mind. You want to be a hacker, you want to be known as a hacker, you want to be able to call yourself a hacker or let others call you a hacker.
Little
you have to
Twitter
grind,
things annoying.
oftentimes in complete silence and anonymity for some period of time, maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe decades. And even then, you might still never be noticed. You might not be the hacker that you'd like yourself to be considered as. You might still die in
Good hackers aren't known.
I thought that was back then the thing that you didn't want people to know.
Yeah, you
were.
didn't want people to know who you were.
Because the script kiddies were the people that wanted to be
Exactly.
known.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't that kind of sound weird? So would that make them the people who wants to be known script kiddies?
Well, see, and that's actually one of my biggest complaints with this whole thing is the message he's giving is literally the exact opposite of what I know. And it's an anathema to me because, I mean, most people who are in this field are at least mildly introverted.
Yeah.
So we don't want a lot of special attention. The people who weren't introverted were the hackers, the script kiddie hackers, who were running around trying to get a big name because they wanted all their friends to do all this stuff. And I don't know. But that again goes to his podcast in general, honestly.
Yeah.
invisibility, but at least you have a chance. The short answer here is grind
So
it,
dumb.
and that's it.
Don't.
That's the secret.
Please don't.
Hard work, quiet work, which we're
If it's quiet work, then how does everyone notice it and see your effort?
Yeah, there's a lot of rhetorical things in here.
Yeah, a lot of contradictions. Like I said, it's pseudo-intellectual bullshit. And the whole, well, grind, work hard. Don't work hard, work smart. Everyone who's been in this field or any IT field or engineering, etc., will tell you, don't work hard, work smart. Idiots work hard.
Yeah, as a programmer and hacker, I'm lazy.
Yes.
I want to work hard. I want to work smarter. I want to be able to do other things and not have to work super fucking hard. Are you kidding me?
Right. I like I said, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing just represents to me what I would expect from people who are newer to the field, people who haven't been in industry for a very long time. And by very long, I mean 5 years. Or people who are chasing some kind of mystical dragon dream. And this goes to the point where content creator, maybe that's part of the problem is I don't understand the world of content creation, which probably explains our subscription numbers.
The take out of this is if you hack things, you're curious, you are a hacker, you are whatever you want to be. Who gives a shit? I don't care if you're a programmer, I don't care if you're a shit what you are. Do whatever you like doing and be whatever you want to be. The sky is the limit. Don't let anybody tell you who to be or who you can be. You can be whoever the fuck you want to be. And John Hammond or Cyber Mentor or Dave Kennedy or even fucking us can't tell you who you can be. So if you are a hacker and you consider yourself that, you're a fucking hacker. That's it. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yes. And just to add one little bit to that, make sure that whatever it is you're doing is something that you enjoy. We all want to leave a mark on this world. I know my boss knows, I say it all the time. The work I do, I will always want to better the world is what I really want. It's not leave a mark. I want to better the world. And I want to make people's lives better. And that, I think, we should all strive to do, at least to some degree, because if we did that, then you're going to have that happiness whether or not everyone knows your name, whether or not everyone knows your accomplishments, whether or not you're all over YouTube and you go to a conference and all these people are flocking over to you. Quite frankly, if I went to a conference and people started getting close, I'd want to punch them.
You want to make the world a better place, a safer place. then if you're passionate about security, join in and make it better. But let's not worry about making marks.
Yes.
Just do your job. That's it.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
And other than that, that's our time. I'm Ranyo.
I'm Duran.
And if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe, and get you some Fiji water. And until then, to the next time.
Have fun. He's young. He's 25. So I think that's one of the important things that people need to keep in mind. And this actually bleeds into another topic. I see in Reddit all the time, you've got all these people on and YouTube, and they give a lot of sass, and they're running around giving people advice as to how to enter cybersecurity and all of this other stuff. And they're telling them how to do their job. And I mean, just you see a lot of weird stuff, and it perturbs me because in every single case, the people have only been in the industry for a year or less, or they haven't even made their way in it yet. They're still in college, or this or that. And I've always looked at that and said, you don't know the industry yet. That's not to insult anyone. I mean, when I first started, I didn't know the industry yet. I was lucky. The industry was actually still extraordinarily young, so it was much easier to figure out the industry than it is today. But you don't know the industry for at least 4 years. Really more like 5, 6, or beyond. And this gentleman's 25 apparently, and that's fine. There's nothing, I'm not being ageist. He's 25 and that's great. But at the same time, he hasn't had much time in the industry by his own admission. So I think he's got a long way to grow and a lot to learn. And that's one of the important pieces about maybe some of the bombast that you see in some of these discussions is we need to recognize that at some point you're going to look back and maybe you'll say, I was too absolutist. I thought that this was the easy way in and this was the only way in, and it wasn't. Although I will admit it's much harder now than it was when I started. When I started the field, I mean, hell, I was one of the first people to do SQL injection on an order by clause. Everyone thought it was impossible back then. And now you do it like candy. And that just goes to the point. Honestly, it's much harder now to create something that's actually novel than it was way back when. So much harder.
Oh yeah, because it's already been done. It's already been, it's nothing new. And that's why I say remember we were having this talk, I'm like, how can I come up with anything that's going to be valuable to anybody when everything has already been created? And all you're going to do is reinvent the wheel, recreate the same fucking tool.
Right.
But you make it faster.
Right. Like that one guy who was saying, go through and write your own ping. And I'm going, why would I write my own ping? Ping exists.
Yeah, like I said, there's no point in reinventing the wheel.